This week on Wardens, Michigan conservation officers in District 4 patrol salmon anglers during the busy salmon spawning run in the fall.
That one was hooked in the mouth. It was in the jaw.
No, I was standing right behind you.
And a look into a unique area in the state for field trials for sporting dogs.
I think it's the finest grounds in the country.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. The fall salmon run brings large numbers of anglers to several lakes, rivers, and streams throughout the state of Michigan. With Lake Michigan feeding fish to many inland waters on the west side of the state, those areas have had high salmon numbers for the last several years. In District 4, Conservation Officers Steve Converse and Scott McNeil have been working all day on the first Saturday in October. They've already written tickets to several men who were sharing a fishing camp and possessed illegal fish and illegal gear. Now it's after dark, and they're still observing the flurry of fishing activity on the Manistee River.
We're here on the south side of Tippy Dam. Came in from Town Cole, looking across to Tippy Dam State Park on the north side. That's where all the lights are on the far side. This kind of activity goes on 24/7 this time of year for about 3 weeks straight. That's why we bring in extra people to help with enforcement patrols.
After observing the anglers here for just a few minutes, Officer Converse notices one with whom he'd like to have a conversation.
Which one just got strung up? It's over there, right?
Yeah, right there.
How you doing, guys? State Conservation Officer.
How's it going?
Good. You guys just strung that fish up, right?
Yep,
Who was the lucky catch on that one?
right here.
All right. Where are you from?
Toledo.
Toledo. You familiar with Michigan fishing regulations?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that any fish that's not hooked in the mouth has to be immediately returned to the water, right?
Yeah, that one was hooked in the mouth. It was in the jaw.
No, I was standing right behind you, okay? I wouldn't be contacting you unless I knew what I saw, okay? It wasn't hooked anywhere near the jaw. It was back by the tail, okay? Are you disputing that? I mean, come on.
No, okay, yep. And I haven't done anything with it.
Well, it's strung up, so you're in possession of it, okay? Do you have your fishing license and driver's license on you?
My driver's license up in the car.
All right, let's go ahead and grab your fishing license. How many fish do you have?
Just that was the first one.
That was the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
First one I've ever gotten.
All right. You didn't get one last year?
No.
Okay.
Came up, that was for only 2 days. Yep.
All right, so it's just a straight silver Castmaster?
Yep.
Okay, everything...
Just bought it at the place, yeah.
Okay, all right, everything's good with that. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna write you a ticket for retaining a foul hook fish, okay? All fish that are caught have to be hooked in the mouth.
Right.
Okay, if they're not, they gotta be released.
No, yeah,
okay.
we do the walleye run and stuff. I know.
You got excited,
Yeah.
this was your first
Yeah,
fish, I get it,
yeah,
I get
yeah.
it, okay. I understand that, I appreciate your cooperation with the whole thing, but, you know,
Rules are rules.
about 80% of the fish in this river system are natural reproduction fish.
Okay.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that most of them were actually...
No, so if you look at them, on the fish, behind the dorsal fin, there's an adipose fin, they call it, okay? Any of the natural reproduction fish have that adipose fin. So I can just about guarantee every fish you guys have in stringer over there are gonna have the adipose fish, okay? So if we allowed everybody to keep foul hooked fish,
That's gonna fish.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah, no,
I understand they're coming up here to, everybody says, oh, they're coming up here to die. Well, they're coming up here to die, but they're coming up here to reproduce.
Oh yeah.
And without doing that, we don't have a fishery.
Right. No.
So,
that's to make more for next year.
Yep. Absolutely.
In the same area where Officer Converse is filling out a citation, Officer McNeil is also in the process of issuing a citation.
Restitution goes by weight. It's $10 a pound. Okay, just so you understand. Nope, totally made my fault. So appreciate it.
It's too cold for fire.
11.
For the ticket that CO McNeil issued, This fisherman pled guilty to possessing an illegally taken fish and paid a court-ordered fine of $375, 110 of which was restitution to the state.
Two things that made it illegal. A, it was, hooked in the stomach as we saw.
Yeah.
And B, you're using a treble hook.
Turn the head upstream so it gets a little bit more water flow through the gills there.
The fisherman that received the citation from CO Converse pled guilty to retaining a foul-hooked fish and paid a court-ordered fine of $350.
Yep. With you being from Ohio, okay? Ohio is part of what we call the Wildlife Violator Compact, okay? And what that is if you think you can just go back to Ohio and say, I'll just never go back to Michigan to fish again, what happens is they issue a warrant for your arrest, and your fishing privileges in Michigan, along with 47 additional states, including Ohio, get suspended until such time this is taken care of.
No,
so
believe me, I come up here and hunt and everything.
The bonus to that, though, is the fact that I don't have to take bond from you. Otherwise, I'd have to take bond from you for being a non-resident.
Oh, true.
Okay,
Yep.
so just keep that in mind. Contact the court, and just make sure they're hooked in the mouth.
Thank you.
All right, man. Pretty classic of what we see down here a lot of times, especially in the cover of darkness. Guys think they can keep fish, and nobody's going to see where it's hooked, and they start loading up stringers or whatever. That was a female, probably already spawned out. You can see it had a white tail, wasn't in the best shape, but nonetheless, had it been a fish that was in better quality shape, they would have kept it just the same. So we treat them all the same.
The Gladwin Field Trial Area is part of a state forest that is operated in conjunction with the Michigan DNR and has a designated field dog trial area.
Atta girl.
DNR staff work diligently to provide the best cover possible for grouse and woodcock in how they manage these grounds.
We manage the habitat here in this 8 square miles for young forest habitat. The major cover type here is aspen, so we manage the aspen. When it comes up on rotation age, we get it cut, and it provides a lot of habitat for the birds. We get good numbers of grouse and woodcock here on the grounds, and that lends itself to field trialing.
The field trial clubs that utilize the Gladwin Field Trial Area work closely with the DNR to ensure that it's well maintained and well taken care of while being used.
The DNR does a wonderful job helping us keep this place, because if it weren't for all this group of who we kind of police it a little bit. We kind of make sure everybody takes care of themselves out here, and it's just a remarkable area. It's one of the few places like this in the United States that's still available. Most everything else has been bought up.
One of the events held here is the Lake States Field Trial.
On my left is Ponderosa Mac with Mr. Chafee, and on my right is Wildcat Run with Mr. Eckert. Good luck, guys.
Good luck to you, Robert.
It's hosted by the Lake States Field Trial Club.
This club is the oldest one in Michigan, and in fact in the United States there are only 2 others that are older than this club, and that's the Grand and the Pennsylvania Championship.
During a field trial, they run 2 dogs in a brace, and those dogs are in competition with all the other dogs. They're not necessarily in competition with each other. It's there could be from 20 to 100 dogs in a trial, and all of those dogs are broke into braces, so they run 2 at a time over a course.
The ones we do here are on wild birds, which I really, that's what everybody here really likes. There's nothing fake about it. The dog has to go out and find and point the bird and handle it. And what we're looking for is probably the ultimate dog. The dog that has tremendous drive, runs out there at kind of extreme range at times, but still comes back on his own. And they're looking for the power in the dog. It'll be set up kind of, these are some of the dogs that will carry on the breeding for the whole country, actually.
In the opinions of many who use it and operate it, the Gladwin Field Trial Area is among the best in the country.
We travel all over the country to do these cover dog trials. And in my opinion, there's no other place in the country equal to this. We've got the courses, we've got lots of folks that help out and make the trial run successful, and we have a cutting program that goes on with the state.
The Gladwin Field Trial Area is very special because we do run our trials on native birds. There's not very many trial grounds, if any, in the country that exclusively run on native birds.
Cutting programs is what produces, it's a cover that grouse like and woodcock, so we're just really fortunate here. And like I said, I think it's the finest grounds in the country, and I think a lot of people would agree with me.
It's kind of a privilege for me as a wildlife biologist to have as part of my responsibility the co-management of this special place in field trialing history and tradition, and this special place here in, that happens to be in Gladwin, Michigan.
Conservation Officer Steve Converse and Scott McNeil are patrolling salmon anglers after dark near the Tippy Dam on the Manistee River. With the cover of darkness, oftentimes they can observe fishing activity from a close distance. They've encountered a fisherman who is using a lure that's illegal.
See how easy it bends?
Oh.
It means it's primarily constructed of lead. Okay.
Okay, I didn't know that.
We're not allowed to use any spoons or lures that are primarily constructed of lead.
Okay. Really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
So, I mean,
So don't shop at Walmart?
what's that?
See, the thing is anytime you're using a treble hook or a lure, body bait, spinner, spoon, okay, what does this do when it goes through the water? Does it spin? What does it do? It just pulls straight through. It's flat. There's no curvature to it. That's flat. That pulls through. It's for the purpose of snagging fish. Oh, okay.
So
no, I didn't.
That's
How many fish have you caught today? I've caught none. You haven't caught any? No.
Is this one of those P-line jigs?
I don't know what this is. I got this from last year, one of the stores up here.
Okay. So back in 2015 is when they made the change as far as outlawing not necessarily these, okay, but there was any lure primarily constructed of lead. Okay, as far as the bait, because there were a lot of locally they were called Turk sticklers or torpedoes, chunk of lead, not painted up, not shined up or anything, just chunk of lead with 2 treble hooks out of it, and they were straight just using it for snagging fish.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I'm not out here trying to snag.
So. And my partner's aware that, we were watching, we knew you weren't, using it in a matter of like trying to snag.
You can't use those, you can't use this. Yeah, I actually found these like pulling through that. What about on that side? So here's the fish. I mean, if you guys want them, I don't want anything illegal to fish with.
So pretty much everything you have in that box would be legit.
Yeah, that's
okay. Because everything's steel, everything's metal.
Okay. Minnesota, so you know.
So you got a lot of walleye stuff.
Oh yeah, I love my walleye.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
I just snag these out of the river. So
okay.
If you want these, you can have. I found them in here. So
I got plenty more for them. So.
You don't want them? No, I don't want them. I don't want anything to get me, in trouble out here. Okay. So.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm gonna give you a warning on this, all right? Okay. I'm just gonna give you a warning on this. Okay. We have your information. I don't want to have to run across you with something like this again, all right? No, you'll never catch me with one of them again.
Conservation Officer Becky Hubers started her day monitoring salmon anglers during the fall spawning run. With so much fishing activity, she anticipated spending her entire shift watching fish and the people pursuing them. But it's early October, and that means several other types of wild game are being pursued by hunters and fishermen. In District 4...
Okay, does he have callback number?
Hey, firm. His number is 231.
Officer Hubers has just received a call to respond to a call from someone who believes they heard someone shooting at waterfowl with unplugged shotguns. After driving to another part of the county, CO Hubers checks out the area where the caller reported hearing the shots. She investigates vehicles as well as truck and foot tracks.
Somebody did leave here already, unless that was them.
She also sees 3 men walking towards her.
Getting rained out?
Yeah, definitely. Come back to campus now.
Where's the tracks where we were?
Yeah, what were the tracks going that way?
What's that?
Well, there's a set of tracks going that way too?
Yeah, they're just going that way.
Oh, they just drove out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Right.
no, deer tracks.
Oh, I thought you meant vehicle tracks.
Oh no.
All right, licenses?
Yep.
You got a camp card at all or no?
I got it posted up.
Okay, all right. Safety's on that thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there anything at camp I should know about? Are there any deer hanging or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Climber stands, you said? Or you got a tree stand?
We've got a climber stand,
Okay.
we've got a ground line, and 2 tree stands.
Okay, all right. Hi. How are you? Oh, that's all right. Just leave it there. At least it's there. Well, how much bait are on your stands? You got some corn out, obviously.
About 2 gallons.
Okay, nothing more than that. If I walk back, I wouldn't have to deal with it or anything. You guys are good? Okay. I didn't see anything wrong. All of their licenses were fine. They were very, very nervous talking to me. Their hands were shaking when they handed me their licenses. That's why we went back and kind of did a nonchalant check of the camp, just to see if there was anything that was very obvious. Deer hanging, because everybody had their tags, so if there was a deer hanging, someone was missing a tag. I saw some bait on the ground, and I asked them about that, but I'm just curious as to why it's so much shaking. I didn't think I'd make people nervous, but maybe I'm just checking for warrants for the most part and any issues there, and we should be fine.
Officer Hubers reaches out to dispatch to confirm that the men with whom she just met and whose names she has written down don't have any outstanding warrants or other reasons for her to visit them again.
Those gentlemen have a lot of things in their past just based on those files, but there's nothing that prohibits them from being out here camping and bow hunting, so they're not doing anything wrong. I think the shaking is probably because the one gentleman's on probation and just other guy has an OSC, which is an officer safety caution, so he's had issues with police officers before, either fighting or he's had dangerous crimes. And nobody has a valid license, I don't think. So again, we didn't see them driving. They all had legitimate hunting licenses, and they're doing nothing wrong. So we're good. But that explains their nervousness and behavior.
After working late on Saturday during the first weekend of October patrolling salmon anglers, Officer Steve Converse is back at it the next day to observe the busy fishing activity that frequently occurs during weekends in the fall. To start his patrol, he takes a look at the anglers in the river from afar.
That guy that just lost that fish and his buddy there appear to be throwing some of those lures we were talking about yesterday, as far as the ones primarily constructed of lead with a couple treble hooks on them. So we'll probably make our way around there.
These guys right here just around the corner just landed a fish that's hooked right above the adipose fin just in front of the tail. So I'm going to slip in here, see if they string it up.
Those guys landed a fish that was hooked illegally. It was hooked in the back. They brought it in, they pulled the hook out, took a picture with it, and let it go. Absolutely nothing illegal about that. Number of fish that are in the river using the gear. You're going to foul hook fish. You land them, let them go. No harm, no foul.
As he continues his way down the river, CO Converse spots a fisherman who is fishing with an illegal lure.
Keep reeling, crank it in. Reel it in. So the reason I'm contacting you is these lures are illegal. Okay? You're not allowed to use any lure that's primarily constructed of lead, or a lure like this that has the treble hooks permanently attached to it. I did not know that. Okay. I'm going to fill you in on some other regulations here before you get in and start breaking those out. Okay? Spoons like that, anytime you're using a treble hook on these spoons, that treble hook cannot exceed 3/8 of an inch point to shank.
Ooh, that was too.
I can tell you right now that that's an oversized hook. Okay? So before you start throwing those and getting in trouble with them as well. Single point hooks cannot exceed a 1/2 inch. So some of your Johnson silver minnows there, those would probably be cause trouble for you. So what you can fish with will be those right there.
Okay.
Looking in your box, that's about all I see.
In this case, for using a lure primarily constructed of lead, this fisherman paid a court-ordered fine of $285.
Sir, I didn't realize all this, and you know, you go up there to the bait store and they're selling full of this. It's like, we came up here for a long time, but haven't been here for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Did not know that.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry I broke the rules, so,
Live and learn sometimes, right?
Yeah.
This week on Wardens, Michigan conservation officers in Districts 1 and 5 patrol snowmobilers and ORV riders during extremely cold conditions.
What did you have to drink earlier today?
Couple Bud Lights.
Couple? How many did you have, would you say?
The DNR heads to the sky to estimate the state's moose population.
It's really hard to find people that can fly, that can spot moose, and then ID moose.
And officers pitch in to help collect donations for underprivileged children.
You'll definitely make some kids' dreams there.
Yeah. Wild animals and wild places, they're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. The priorities of Michigan conservation officers are to keep the public safe and to protect Michigan's natural resources. They also want to make sure that everyone they encounter is playing by the rules put into place by the state. Consequently, they frequently spend much of their time checking to make sure that those who are enjoying the outdoors are doing so with the appropriate licenses and permits. In District 5, Officer Charlie Jones is patrolling snowmobilers and others on Houghton Lake during a busy weekend in January. He just noticed 2 ORVs passing. He couldn't see the appropriate stickers on their machines, so he speeds up to chase them down.
What's going on, guys? Good, how are you? Good. The reason I stopped you is I see I got a green sticker on here. Okay, so you got 18. You got a sticker on yours? Okay. All right. All right, that looks good. Sometimes it's just hard for us to tell, especially when you got a green one. Yeah. You know, it's his quad too. Like, okay. Yeah. All right, where are you guys from?
We're from Rochester, but we got a place on that.
Okay, nice. You guys gonna be up all weekend, get some fishing in, or are you just gonna cruise around? We just checked out the snowmobiling jumping, and we're just gonna go get some lunch, head back to his house. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, cool, guys. Well, I just saw the green sticker, so
Yeah, no
and then I
problem.
couldn't see yours because it's on top. So, but no, you guys are good. Awesome. All right. Have a good one, guys.
You too,
Be
sir.
safe. Thank you. That red four-wheeler there. I couldn't see the orange trail permit on the right-hand side. I just saw the green sticker. And then some of the other four-wheelers, they put the sticker on top, so it's really hard to tell. But that green kind of triggered me to go take a look and see what was going on. So other than that, I didn't suspect any alcohol, didn't really smell anything. So, but they were good to go.
A short time later, C.O. Jones meets a man coming out of his ice fishing shanty.
How you doing, man? Good. Any luck in there?
I just got out here.
Okay. Where are you from?
It's like between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
that might not be it.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's your date of birth? Or you got your driver's license?
Yep.
Okay. All right. No, you're good. You're all set. How many tip-ups you got out? You haven't put them out yet?
0.
Okay.
I just got out here.
All righty. Awesome, man.
Later, Officer Jones sees a man on a snowmobile go past him who doesn't have the appropriate trail permit.
I saw a green trail sticker on here. You not have another sticker or what? No? So you're a snowmobile?
Yeah.
Okay. So why didn't you get a new trail permit?
I didn't know you need a trail permit on the ice.
Yeah.
I thought it was different on the.
Nope.
I got one for that.
Yeah, no, you need a trail permit for
I
snowmobiles.
thought it was
So.
just for the trail. I know it's for the ice.
Yep. Nope. It's got to be for the ice. Only if you're ice fishing.
Okay.
You don't have to have one, but that's only ice fishing. So, and obviously you're not ice fishing. So.
A few months ago. So.
Okay. You got the registration for it on here too?
I don't know if I have it with me or not.
Okay. All right. Is it in the back or? Because you got to have registration on it as well.
I think it might. I don't know if it's in the back or not.
Okay. All right. Well, do you both have your driver's license on you? Okay. Unfortunately, you're going to receive a citation for expired trail permit, and what I'm going to recommend is go get a trail permit so you're not going to keep getting stopped, okay? All right, just stand by with me. I'll write with you, okay?
In this case, for not having his trail permit, the snowmobile's owner paid a court-ordered fine of $100.
With the three-wheeler, you need an ORV and a trail. What's the difference in that? Then?
No, you don't. If you're on the ice, if you're on the lake, you only need an ORV sticker. But if you're on a designated ORV trail, you got to have your trail permit.
In addition to registering your snowmobile with the Secretary of State, residents and non-residents that operate snowmobiles on public land in Michigan are required to purchase a snowmobile trail permit. The trail permit enables snowmobilers to ride state-designated trails, public roads, and public lands. If snowmobiles are used solely for transportation on the frozen surface of public waters for the express purpose of ice fishing, they are exempt from the trail permit, but must still be registered.
If you get stopped again, that's going to temporarily act as your permit. So, but I recommend just go get a permit.
About how fast you go on the side?
What's reasonable?
I mean, depends on people around and stuff.
So what's reasonable? Yeah, what you think is safe. So, okay. All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks.
Michigan conservation officers spend a lot of their time monitoring hunters and anglers from their patrol vehicles and boats, but they also work hard to serve their communities in other ways too. During the Christmas season, Michigan COs teamed up with Toys for Tots and Jay Sporting Goods to collect donations for children.
We're out here in Jay's in Gaylord. We're doing a Toys for Tots donation booth, so we have a drop-off center. So if you have some toys, we have a lot of people braving the snowy roads to come out, and we got a lot of good donations going on. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too now.
Here, guys, go.
Thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas.
Conservation officers from 2 law enforcement districts were at 2 different Jay Sporting Goods locations to accept donations over the course of a weekend.
The idea is to stuff a truck full of toys and other goods for underprivileged children to have. In this time of year, especially with everything going on, it's important that everyone has a good Christmas and has something to open up on Christmas Day. So due to the weather, we moved everything inside. The idea was to stuff the actual CO truck full of stuff, which inside we have enough stuff, I believe, at least stuff 1 truck and maybe start on a second. Hi, buddy. Is that a good spot? Yeah, okay, we'll put it right there. Thank you, buddy. Bye. Wherever you want to put them, buddy. Here, want me to make room? Turn that sideways for you. There you go. Many places aren't doing Toys for Tots this year. We partnered with Jay's here to try to do a Toys for Tots for the underprivileged children. Yep, go ahead and put them anywhere. There's boxes you can put them on. You can set them on this stuff, up on a table. That's a good spot right there. Thank you, buddy. Oh, well, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Just go ahead and set it anywhere. Anywhere, yeah, there you go, perfect. Yes, yep, that's fine. You'll definitely make some kids' dreams there.
Well, we hope, huh?
Yes, yep. Very cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a conservation officer, we have to, live in the areas we work. A lot of places you don't have to do that, but we live in the areas we work, and it's important that we give back and show that, we're more about the community, whether it's safety or just the holiday spirit and giving and taking care of our community.
Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Dedicated snowmobilers rush to the trails and frozen lakes when conditions and weather are right. This bustle of activity keeps Michigan conservation officers busy as they make sure everyone is doing things safely and according to the rules. In Michigan's District 1, CO David Miller is among a group of officers watching a busy trail early on a cold Saturday afternoon.
I'm guessing you have her registration?
I got a truck, I think it's in there.
Just have to match up the numbers. I'm gonna have you move your feet for a minute. There you go. You want to put that in here? Yeah. Keep it in your sled. You might get stopped again. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, because trail permit just went on this morning because it was so freaking cold the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I was like, at least get up to 20-some degrees so you put that on today.
I thought it was supposed to be a lot warmer today. They said a high of 27 or 28, and it sure didn't feel like it.
I see 19, 20.
All right, well, you guys have fun.
Officer Miller and the other officers with him don't encounter or observe any violations while they're checking people on this trail. However, it's still early in their shift. Later in the day, they'll be keeping a trail clear for a sled dog race.
3, 2, 1, and our Comfort Dog 150 is underway.
Between 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The light conditions are the best at that time without a lot of shadows that impact sightability, you know, when we're looking for moose.
Every 2 years, the Michigan DNR performs a moose survey to estimate the population of the herd in the primary moose region in the western Upper Peninsula.
Moose survey is done with a pilot and 2 observers in the back seat, and we have a primary and a secondary observer that are looking at moose. Our survey plots are basically 2 miles wide by 12 miles long, and we'll fly quarter-mile grids on those surveys. So we'll fly down a quarter mile, then slide over a quarter mile, fly back, and cover that 2 miles, which would be 8 flights on one plot.
The DNR attempts to complete the survey during the month of January. Pilots must make a determination each morning during the month regarding the safety and feasibility of flying based on weather conditions. In 2019, the last year from which this data is available, only 7 days of January's 31 were fit for flying.
We fly low and slow and just try to count. And when we do spot or see any moose, we try to sex ID it and then identify the cover type and the sightability around that moose, the 10-meter area around that moose, percentage of cover around that moose.
Spotting a moose from a plane at 100 miles an hour can be difficult for those that aren't used to it, but more experience brings more success.
It's really hard to find people that can fly, that can spot moose and then ID moose, and it takes a lot of people to pull this thing off, and appreciate all their help. We have volunteers, everything from a school teacher, a sheriff, MDOT mechanic as a volunteer that help with the survey, along with the DNR personnel.
The Copper Dog 150 is a sled dog competition in which the mushers cover 150 miles over the course of 3 days in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It has up to 30 teams of 10 dogs each.
It's set up as a 3-day stage race. So tonight we did 49.6 miles. Tomorrow is shortened to 33.6, I believe, because they had to take the backcountry out because of the 30 inches of snow we had, and they couldn't get it groomed. And then Sunday will be 44 miles up to Calumet from Copper Harbor.
In the past week or so, we've had a severe snowstorm blow through with 30 inches of snow, 50-mile-an-hour winds causing 6 to 10-foot drifts on our trail system. So the groomers had to work very hard to get the trails open. But with that, it pushes some of the race course back onto the snowmobile trail for extended periods.
Michigan conservation officers lend a hand during this event.
Our focus today is bringing in some conservation officers from out of the area to assist with the Copper Dog 150 sled dog race. They asked for some safety patrols for us on the trail to be visible, to educate snowmobilers in the area that they may come across dog sled teams on the snowmobile trail system in the evening. So our focus is going to be to educate, be seen, and let people know that there's going to be dual purpose traffic on the trails tonight.
3, 2, 1, and our Copper Dog 150 is underway.
Most years, the Copper Dog event relies on more than 500 volunteers to hold the event and brings out many interested spectators.
The Copper Dog 150, I think it's in its 10th or 11th year, and it's a very big draw this time of year in the middle of winter. It brings in lots of people to the area. It's good for the economy, it's good for the tourism industry, as well as our trail system. It's another user group that utilizes our snowmobile trails, so we're just going to lend our hand and do our part to assist in a safe event.
I have a couple of dogs that are just 2, and this is their first year racing, so my goal is just to get them through the 3 stages of the race and hope they do it well, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
Straight ahead, Rita, straight ahead.
Right there, girls. Right there.
Michigan Conservation Officer Charlie Jones has been patrolling snowmobilers and ice fishermen on a cold Saturday in January. In the mid-afternoon, CO Jones encounters a group of men who are wrapping up their ice fishing for the day. They've been fishing without a shanty or any other protection from the elements and are rushing to get their belongings collected so they can go somewhere warmer. One of the men is holding a tip-up with its line still in the water.
It was just us 3 that were fishing. He's got a tip-up in his hand, so...
He's just pulling it up because we're packing.
Yeah, but he's got it in his hand, though, so... He's fishing, right? He's got it in his hand?
We're just packing it up to go in. We've got the names on them and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
They just told them to pick them up and make it go.
Okay, so, but still, you have it in your hand, so to me, that looks like that you're fishing. It doesn't matter if you got your name on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you could have all the tip-ups and loan 2 tip-ups to each guy, and then you guys can have 1 jig. So when I see that you're physically fishing, you have a hook, it's in the water, right? So you're fishing, right? Okay. So that's why I'm educating you guys on that, okay?
Okay.
I'll check whoever has licenses now and who doesn't have a license. You don't and you don't. So obviously I didn't see you fish because you're putting a chair away, right? Okay, I'll check the 3 that have a license. That's not a fishing license. Where's your fishing license?
How is that not a fishing license?
That's your donation, $1 donation.
Sorry, that is.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do for you, okay? Usually I'll write a ticket for that. But I know you guys are packing up. Okay, I'm gonna get you a warning on that. You guys coming back out tomorrow?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so if you come out and you're gonna be fishing, go get a fishing license, okay? Simple as that.
Cool.
Good, fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Or anything, though, they're just okay to be out here with us.
Well, the thing is if you guys got,
Hold this.
yeah, he's gonna get frostbite, dude.
Here.
And that's the thing, because that'd be like you having a fishing pole in your hand and say, I'm not fishing. There's no difference, okay? And that's why it's sometimes better to educate you than just write you a ticket, because I'm not really getting my point across.
Yeah.
So if you are gonna be fishing tomorrow, I recommend go get a fishing license, okay?
Yeah.
And then if you can have 3 lines each, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys can have whatever you guys have between 3 lines, so. But again, I know it's cold, you guys are trying to get off the ice, so.
As evening begins to fall on Officer Jones and the other officers working the Tip-Up Town event, they're still working hard to keep people safe.
So the other officers, they're still over on the East Bay, and they're going to be working their way over this way. Once actually the fireworks start to happen. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more snowmobile traffic. It's kind of picking up, and it's easier to not necessarily see what's going on, but as you can tell, a lot more lights out here.
Officer Matthew Zoltak has encountered a snowmobiler whose headlights aren't working.
Do you have a valid driver's license? Yes, I do. Okay. I'm going to just shine my flashlight right here. I'm just going to kind of look real quick, check your sled out. And I'm just going to look at your eyes. Okay. What did you have to drink earlier today?
A couple Bud Lights.
Couple? How many did you have, would you say?
2.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the drunkest you've ever been, 1 being not drunk at all. How's that? So you do feel a little bit intoxicated?
No, I don't feel intoxicated at all, but I had a couple drinks, so.
Okay, because I'm getting a faint smell of alcohol, so I just want to make sure. I'm standing right here and I'm just smelling it.
He told us that you guys only had one earlier today.
I had one. Okay, it's okay. That's fine. Hey, sir, what's going to happen? I'm going to run this. If you want to talk to the officer, you can talk to him by the sled. It's going to take a second. Okay.
Although Officer Zoltak does not find probable cause to pursue a drunken driving case against this snowmobiler, he does want her off the ice as she's putting other riders and herself at risk by driving in the dark without headlights.
Do you have the ability to trailer it somewhere? Because technically I can't even let her operate.
I mean, I could go get the trailer.
That's go up to the corner right here at the stoplight.
Basically what I got to ask you to do is, because I can't let her operate because she becomes a hazard to other people. Once she gets on the road, she becomes a hazard to someone else.
So Officer Zoltek, he made a stop on the snowmobile that's driving by. She had no headlight on. And she also said that she went to the bar down here and then the beer tent. So he was just checking to see for nystagmus in her eyes and make sure that she wasn't intoxicated. So at this point, she was good to go. And there's still issues with the headlight out and he can't really let her go. So he's gonna follow her over to the shore where they're gonna be bringing a trailer to pick up that snowmobile. So we just don't want anybody driving around without a headlight out, just in case, for one, safety, you gotta have it, so you can't see where you're going. We just don't need anybody crashing into each other, especially because, again, safety is a really big concern out here.
This week on Wardens, Michigan conservation officers in District 3 check on upland bird hunters. D4 officers patrol salmon anglers.
Read signs when you're walking through the woods.
A CO in D8 offers tips on hunting turkeys. And a peek into the DNR's efforts at putting bands on geese.
I get a nice, even closure on the band when I put it around the goose's leg.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. Michigan conservation officers have the authority to enforce general criminal law and frequently do, particularly in rural areas of the state where there may not be as many officers available from state, county, and local law enforcement agencies. Their primary focus, however, is on protecting the state's vast natural resources. As a result, in addition to the laws that cover general criminal matters, COs must also be well-versed in a wide variety of game species that can be found throughout the state, from deer, bear, and elk to fish, grouse, and turkey, as well as small game species and more. COs have a lot of information to retain when it comes to wild animals. In District 3, Officer Tim Roshaki is on patrol during the early elk season that's going on in his area, but also encountering upland bird hunters.
Oh, we got some good wet dogs here this morning. Hey, Poochies. Good, how are you guys today?
Oh, we just getting started?
Yeah?
Yep.
So, how's it been?
Trying to avoid some rain?
Yeah? So, yeah, it's just getting moving right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, I screwed my back up.
Did you?
Oh, my hip,
Did you sleep on it bad or what?
Well, I've been struggling with it. I think they're telling me it's sciatic nerve or something. I can barely walk.
So it's perfect. So, very good. So are you guys all from Indiana then?
Yep.
Yeah, so awesome. What brings you all the way up here?
I've been coming up here since '95.
Have you?
Yep.
So whereabouts in Indiana then?
Northeast corner,
Okay.
north of Fort Wayne.
At least you're up north then, so
Yeah.
you're a little bit closer.
Yeah, my brother got me coming up here back in '95 and just love coming up here.
Yeah. It's a beautiful area.
Oh, yeah.
So some good stuff. I saw a lot of flights of woodcock this morning.
Did you?
So, and we've had a lot of woodcock around lately. A lot more woodcock than grouse.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
let's
we
take
haven't
quick
been
peek at
seeing a
licenses.
ton of grouse the
Thank
last
you.
few years, but it's still.
We're on a downward slope right now and have been for a couple years, so it should really start coming back.
I love coming up here though, just to camping and you know, hanging out. And
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So good. There's that back. Hey, you guys are very welcome. So yeah,
Much appreciated.
So you're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
Salmon are another game species that keep Michigan COs busy during the early fall. When the spawning runs really heat up, some areas of the state have officers on patrol 24 hours a day to monitor the influx of activity that brings anglers from many states and even other countries.
Where are you from?
Mexico.
Mexico. All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have your fishing license on you?
In the state's District 4, Sergeant Dan Bigger is observing people who are targeting salmon from a piece of private property where he has permission to be. The landowner has asked him not to offer a lot of leeway towards trespassers.
We've had a lot of problems with people damaging the trees, the lands around it, camping, starting fires, leaving trash. We want to be good stewards to not only the land, but to the landowners that are adjacent to the state lands.
Sergeant Bigger started his shift in the mid-afternoon, and not long after he begins, he runs into a man who's walking where he shouldn't be.
Down that path, there's going to be a bunch of yellow signs that say no trespassing. Did you see those?
I saw yellow signs. I didn't even take the time to read them.
Okay. Those are no trespassing signs. They're all the way up and down the river, both sides. Did you come in this way too?
Yeah.
All right. Is this the same path you took?
Yep.
Okay. So your recreational trespassing right now is the problem.
Okay.
The landowner has contacted us. He posted all the stuff to try and keep the people off his property. At this point, you're like right halfway, so I'll let you continue on this way because that's the way you're going. 'Cause
Okay.
you're right in the center of it.
Okay.
Right. So.
What is both sides of the river? So you have to
No,
like,
this
walk...
side here.
Oh, okay.
So, are you familiar with how to get around private property at all, or what the?
I know that if you can't pass in the river, like if there's an obstacle, you can go
Right.
on private property. But
Right.
I was unaware that this was private property.
Okay, those yellow signs you missed.
Uh-huh.
Read signs when you're walking through the woods.
This man says he noticed the yellow no trespassing signs, but didn't read them.
The parking is state land, so there's a couple ways you can get down here. One, there's a lower trail, and when you hit the private property, you'll see the signs you can enter the river and walk. It's about 100, 120 yards long,
Okay.
his property.
Okay.
So it's a decent stretch, but it's not crazy.
Mhm.
When you get out there, you can exit the river and come back up, and it's state land on that side. So his chunk comes right down the center.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can just traverse along the side, or it's shallow enough on that end of his property that you can walk all the way across the river,
Okay.
walk on the land, and then re-enter on the other side if you don't want to walk past all these people that are down there fishing, because I know you'll scare fish and all that stuff, right?
Right.
So the best bet is to exit, walk around them.
Okay.
But you have a right to traverse the river even when they're there. They'll probably have to pull their lines in. So those are your two options.
In this case, for engaging in recreational activities while trespassing on private land, this man pled guilty and paid a court-ordered fine of $275. In addition to patrolling anglers and hunters, as well as enforcing general criminal law, Michigan conservation officers also spend much of their time at community events and striving to educate the public. One way to do both is to lend their expertise to students during hunter safety classes. In the state's District 8, Officer Dan Prince is in Livingston County sharing his passion for turkey hunting and offering advice to students on how to be successful while chasing gobblers.
If you are not responsible enough to carry the tag, you shouldn't be carrying the gun. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so you got to carry your own license. Okay, so this is when my boys got wallets. Okay, they got their own wallet. I'm giving you guys information that most people will not share for whatever reason. If you have not been turkey hunting, I encourage you to go, because once you see it work, you'll be hooked. I mean, it's when you see a big longbeard come in to your decoys and you've interacted with it through calling it, it's like shooting a 10-point buck every time. I guarantee it. A good turkey call will have two notes. Yo, 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 yo. When you do it fast, it runs together. But a good turkey call will be able to make that, if you were to really do it slow, will be almost two notes. This call is under $20. Just, you can do clucks with it. basically a couple calls that you have to know, okay? And you have to know a yelp. And a yelp is a turkey communicating, where are you? Okay, a hen turkey will yelp, a gobbler will yelp sometimes, okay? They do yelp. It's a real coarse yelp. It's not as many notes, but a hen will yelp in the spring and it says, where are you? And this is all it is, it's this. And when you call, you want to run the different notes together. You just don't yelp, okay? But I'll do it separately, and then I'll go over the couple other notes. So yelp is just this. That's it. And a cluck is it's a single note, and this call means come here. So it's just this. And a lot of people are like, a lot of first-time hunters are like, well, I don't like to cluck because it sounds like an alarm putt. An alarm putt's different. It is a single note, but a turkey will go, put, put, and that means danger. And then you'll see their head bob and they are gone. To do those notes together is what you want. So you want to do some yelps and clucks together. Turkeys, they have about 5,000 to 6,000 feathers. They leave lots of sign. They're a social bird, and so they leave lots of evidence of where they've been. And so as a turkey hunter, you want to recognize that, key in on those areas where they leave sign, and that's a good place to start. Now that is a turkey gobbler. That is a trophy turkey poop right there. I was excited when I saw that. A hen will typically lay between 8, 12 eggs. This nest had 14. And they lay 1 egg a day. They lay 1 egg a day in that spot until they have a whole clutch of eggs. And at that point, the hen will then incubate the eggs. Once she commits to incubation, she does not leave that nest only for a little bit of time. She does not fly up into the roost. So when a bird incubates like that, that leaves gobblers lonely, okay? And they're really susceptible to calling, really susceptible.
When he's not on duty, CO Prince enjoys turkey hunting tremendously and really wants those in the audience to benefit from his hunting experience.
You're starting to see the ambient blue light. It's just starting to get light. And all of a sudden you hear, and all of a sudden he goes, he's like, he's jumped off the limb and he's flying down the ridge. Boom! And that turkey rolls right in the center. Rolls right in the center. The 2 other birds flush out of there. We're done by 6:19. I mean, I saw a flame come out of that barrel. I was like, whoa, that was spectacular.
Once you get their head tucked, they get real mellow.
In order to do their part to help the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service gather information and maintain their database on waterfowl, the Michigan DNR places leg bands on geese.
But I put the band on.
During a 2 to 3 week period when most of the birds don't have their flight feathers.
Generally from about the middle of June to the end of June. So that's the time of the year when it's easiest to herd them, round them up. And it really is kind of like herding sheep for the flightless birds. It's typical that a few of the birds are gonna become flighted again while we're banding. They may have gotten their flight feathers in a little earlier. So it's not uncommon to lose a few out of the group that we're herding and have them fly away.
It's actually part of a federal database. So even if the animal was banded in another state like Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, you know, really anywhere, that data is basically shared amongst all the states. So even if you're hunting in a different area, you might actually harvest a goose in Michigan that was originally banded or born in a different state.
This process begins days or even weeks before the bands go onto the birds, as DNR personnel do some scouting to determine where bigger flocks of geese are living. As they get closer to the birds, they use lower profile and quieter watercraft.
We use power boats, motorized boats, and jet skis to do our scouting
and find out where the geese are. Once we've located where the geese are, kayaks are really our best tool. They're quiet, they're low to the water, they don't put a lot of stress on the bird, and they're easily manipulated by the paddler. So if we can get at least 6, maybe 8 kayakers on the water, we can use those people as a team to basically herd those geese in the direction we want. We don't push them hard.
Besides getting information when these birds are banded, more data is collected months or even years later when someone else encounters one of these geese and shares the details of when and where they came across that particular bird.
One of the great things that can happen with banded geese is if a hunter harvests the animal, they can actually access the information about where the animal was banded and the age of the animal when it was banded. So if you harvest a banded goose, you can actually go on a website and punch in the number that's on the band, and it will give you that information, and there's also a certificate that you can get as well.
The process of banding geese takes excellent coordination and teamwork among the people helping out with the project. Most of those that are participating have done so before and can assist in different ways.
We have a very good crew here today. We've got a good core group of experienced biologists, technicians, and assistants. And those folks have done this year after year for many years.
Glenn does a real good job in the pen. He keeps the geese nice and calm, so when we get them, they're fairly calm and they don't fight too much. And then that gives me a chance to open the cloaca, take a good look inside, see if it's a male or female. And then if you have a really good band opener like Michaela, who opens these bands real even, then I get a nice even closure on the band when I put it around the goose's leg. So those are key things. The other thing is we have a recorder like Brittany over here, and she is keeping track of all the data that we're recording here.
In addition to several employees from the DNR who are working on this operation, there are also some high school students involved.
Oh, this is awesome, dude. I got a goose.
To get an idea of what it's like to have a job with the DNR.
These are 20 high school students from all over the state of Michigan that have an interest in a natural resources career. So we started this program last year called Career Pathways, and we give them an opportunity to spend half a day with each of the major DNR divisions and see what they do on a day-to-day basis.
Through the Career Pathways program, students get an opportunity to observe different careers within the DNR, such as what it's like to be a park ranger or a manager of fisheries or wildlife, as well as jobs within the forestry and law enforcement divisions.
In Wildlife Division, we don't get to interact with live animals very often. A lot of times it's dead animals. We're doing deer check, or we're doing fur bear sealing, or a waterfowl bag check, and all those animals are dead. So when we get to interact with waterfowl, it's really quite rewarding.
Students come in with this preconceived notion: I want to be a conservation officer, I want to be a fisheries biologist. And then they spend all week with all the resource divisions, and when they leave on their evaluations, they'll say, I wanted to be a CO, but I found out how cool forestry is. Or I wanted to be a forester, I found out how cool it was to be a wildlife biologist. So I think it really does help students narrow their search for a university.
The DNR is very grateful to those who allow them to access their property to do this important work.
Whenever we band, we've had great support from our private landowners on Houghton Lake and most of our other water bodies. If anybody ever encounters a DNR person and they say, hey, we're out banding geese today, just know that the birds aren't harmed, the information is very important, and we appreciate it when people allow us to use their lakefront property for an hour or two to band geese. It's very helpful.
Michigan conservation officers must frequently shift gears from one species to another when they're on patrol, especially in the fall when several hunting seasons are running concurrently. The state's District 3 is the only district with elk, as well as one of the primary areas where bears can be found. With the early elk season underway, CO Tim Roshaki knows he could get a call anytime pertaining to that big game species, but currently he's running into upland bird hunters.
How's hunting for you guys?
Put a few up.
Yeah? Mostly woodcock or a little bit of partridge too? No, that's not bad. You guys just wrapping up at the spot or just getting out?
Hey, what's that road go?
That just goes into a wildlife opening.
Another one.
So.
There's my sharp-tailed grouse.
Okay. You got her early, so you still got the green tags.
Oh,
I got
Nice. All,
woodcock and everything
all
should
the
be all
above.
there.
So perfect. So thank you.
Yep. Yesterday I got 2 woodcock.
Good.
Put up about, I don't know, 2 days ago we probably put up 20 birds.
Yeah. How's the season been for you?
So far so good.
Yeah. Dog looks like she's having fun.
What's that?
Dog's having fun.
Oh yeah, having a blast.
So
hey,
good.
I'm James.
Tim.
Nice
good to meet you.
Tim.
So perfect. Good. I'm just checking licenses for you.
Cool.
Seeing if you
Yeah,
had
can
anything.
I,
So-
I'm gonna set
absolutely.
this down and dig it out of my pack.
Absolutely.
Here. I had the day off today, so
That's not bad. Where's home for you?
How?
Okay.
Yep. My wife gave me the okay to head on out.
Good for you. You lived down there all your life, or?
Southeast Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. We just moved to Howell in
Gotcha.
July.
I grew up in South Lyon, so
Oh, nice,
I know the
yeah.
area well.
You my ID too?
No, you're all set. So perfect.
In addition to checking upland bird hunters, Officer Roshaki notices an unoccupied truck that piques his curiosity. He notices ammunition in the cab and bait in the bed of the truck. So, CO Roshaki decides to wait for the driver of the truck to return to it. When the brake lights are illuminated on the truck, Officer Roshaki approaches it once again.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. What are you up to today?
I was just baiting my spot out there.
Okay. So sounds good. Any firearms or anything with you?
I do.
You
I
do?
like concealed carry.
Okay, that's it though?
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, I just saw the ammunition. There wasn't any licenses that were registered to you.
Wait, it's on what?
I saw the ammunition inside, and you don't have any valid hunting licenses that are currently registered to you, so I wasn't sure if you were all you had.
Actually a registered.
Are you Rob? Okay, this is your mom. Okay, so
It's my truck, but it's
you're okay.
registered.
I got you. I wasn't sure what was going on, so it's kind of just by looking up that stuff and
Yeah.
seeing everything else in there. So good. No, perfect. Any good sign back there for you? No.
Deer been weird this year.
They've been goofy. I think it's all the acorns.
Yeah, it's
So-
like they just nibble at the corn every now and then, and that's it.
They're full. There's so much other food in the woods.
Yeah.
So perfect. No good. You're all set. So like I said, just the name didn't jive with what I was
Right.
seeing and with everything in the car. So
I know,
perfect.
I really should get this truck under my own name.
So, well, you know, if it's yours, it's yours, right? So
Yeah.
I get her squared away, but nothing wrong with that. So perfect. You're all set then. Have a good one. Thank you.